Hey guys, welcome back to XDA. Today I'm going to show you guys some of the options or some of the things that I like to do on a device once I have root on it. Let's check it out. Now that we have our system rooted, the first thing we want to do is download and install two applications. The first one I will say, definitely download and install Titanium Backup. This gives you the ability to back up your applications, create batch files, be able to configure, change between system apps and user apps. A lot of different powerful tools under the Titanium Backup. And if you don't have it, please make sure you download that first. Next, you want to download and install the Xposed module. And the main thing you want to do is make sure you install the actual installer, make sure the actual modules and everything has been installed, reboot the device, and then once you're done with that, we'll go into modules, download these 4 modules. OK Google for third-party install activities, that just gives you the ability to use OK Google, and that just goes over the ability on any launcher, and this actually does work with the Xperia Launcher. Next is Xperia Xposed. This gives you additional launcher configurations for the Xperia Launcher. We're working with stock. We're not changing the stock launcher itself. So if you're not happy with the launcher, that's a different mod. You don't need root for that, but this definitely works very well. Advanced power menu is self-explanatory. Really gives you the ability to have advanced power options. So if we can go here, press and hold, I have the ability of adding, the screenshot's already in there, but now I have the ability of actually saying I want to reboot, I want to go to recovery, bootloader, and or regular reboot. This is just very nice and it works pretty well. 20 megapixel superior auto. This is a function that you definitely didn't have when you have a stock launcher or stock options on the Xperia devices. It's limited to 8 megapixels whenever it's doing any of the nice features that come within this device. So the main thing we want to make sure also is, of course, that we have the Super SU binaries and everything installed correctly. As you guys saw in the video, we installed that before. We gave permissions to different applications. Of course, I installed BusyBox, I installed Titanium Backup, Vipre for Android, and Xposed Installer. Now that we're talking about it, let's go ahead and check the last thing we want to make sure to install, and that would be Vipre for Android. This gives you the ability to increase audio quality on your device and get a better experience as far as using your device audio. And of course, as if you've used it before, you have different options here. We'll get into that in a little bit. First thing we're going to get into is the Xposed Installer. The OK Google for third-party launcher, it's pretty self-explanatory. All this is going to do is say, OK Google, and it gives us the ability to go in here. The next thing we're going to do here is we'll go back into the installer. The advanced power menu, as I showed you before, this is really just the ability to turn it on. The 20 megapixel superior auto, this is a function and it has built-in setups as far as what you want to turn on and what you don't want to turn on. The main thing obviously is the ability to have 20 megapixels resolution while using superior auto. By default, Sony basically set that to be at around 8 megapixels, and now you have the ability of going higher. There's a few additional features to have other options with different aspect ratios, and if you like them, you can definitely turn them on. I like the camera on the Xperia, and I like the fact that I can take really good pictures at 8 megapixels, especially with the nice features that they have built into it. So just make sure, if you like this, I like this feature, turn it on, install it. Next thing we're going to go into and make sure we access to is the ability to customize the launcher. And the default launcher on the Xperia Z is pretty close to stock, but it lacks some basic functionalities. And I'll go in here and look into it. You have the ability to go into, there's the basic settings. You have launcher setting, lock screen, and then system UI. Under launcher, you have the experimental features. You're able to go in and just enable experimental features, basically, settings, menu items, alphabetical mode grid, different options here. Under general, you have the ability to change the icon size, the label, a lot of different functionality, rows, column based on, on the desktop itself. And then when you go into the lock, how many rows you have in there. And then obviously in the folders, and as well customizing the drawer. So you can go in there, there's additional features. All of these things are very, very nice. You go out, and then we'll go into lock screen setting. You have the ability to turning on transparent status mode, slide before unlock, hide widget background, carrier label, just basic options that you set up there. Under system UI, this is where you're able to enable customizations, and this will require a root, is to change custom colors. So those are one of the main features. Once we go into the actual system, I didn't change the grid, so for the most part that stays the same for me. But once I get into the actual launcher itself, or actually the app drawer, you notice that the animation here, if you have an Xperia device, is different than stock. Also, under the left panel, now I actually have the ability to see a hidden folder, which gives me the ability to see folder with applications that I decided to hide from my launcher. For the most part, I generally like to hide the Xposed modules. I find that they really serve no purpose for me inside the app drawer, so I like to keep them in the hide folder. Go back, go to alphabetical, and I like to access them by just going straight into the actual Xposed installer. So it works quite well for me. The other option, of course, here is the ability to be able to still go settings. This is really the gem installer setting, so that's what takes you in there. Also, the ability to be able to hide things straight out of the launcher. So now when we hide or select items, you have the ability of going straight to either hide, and we'll adjust the phone here, or take it straight to the home screen. So it gives you the ability to do many things, of course, or just take it out. So small little customizations, again, still pure Sony Xperia experience, and you don't lose any of the functionalities that you're using with it. Those are one of the main things as far as using the actual gem installer or the Xposed installer functions. Next, I'm sure you guys are aware of titanium backup. This is really nothing to be explained, but the power under titanium backup is the ability to access all the applications that are installed on your device, be able to back up whatever apps you need in case you need to be able to go back on an application. Of course, you're able to have the customization of, setting up schedules for backups and then be able to actually access this information at a later time. And of course, you also have the ability of running batch. There's a few additional mods that you can install once you install a custom recovery, and that helps getting stereo sound on when the phone rings, and of course increasing the volume. Some people have reported some concerns with low volume experience on the actual earpiece when talking to people. I haven't experienced it too many times, but there are mods that will fix that. The things that I showed you today are just a little bit of what you can do actually once you have root. But basics, titanium backup I think is like the #1 app you want to install, the first thing you do. Second thing, obviously the Xposed installer. There's so many options that you can do, customizations, different things that you can do using the Xposed module installer with all the modules that are in there, that it just literally, gives you so much more power over your device. Last but not least, Vipre for Android. For me, a lot of these new devices that are coming out now, the M8 is an exception to the rule as usual. And again, the Find 7 also is in that same league because stock, those guys have really good audio. But so far with the Z2, and I had the same thing with the Z1 last year, the waterproofing that they use covers the speaker, it hinders the audio quality, and you end up basically having a device that can do more, but is kind of like toned down for other purposes. So hope you guys like some of these options. Let me know what you think. These mods actually will work on any other device that you gain root, so please use these to your benefit. The modules I showed you guys today are primarily meant for Xperia devices. There are additional modules that you can download on the actual Xposed installer and have even more power. As usual, like and subscribe to this channel, like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys soon.